Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Friday, July 22nd. First up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Now, we don't have an official lineup for this one quite yet, and we're going to see a common theme for Friday's cards. Some information is still missing. The first few days after the All-Star break, some of the managers like to keep the information close to the vest. We don't see a ton of announcements in terms of probable starters, some lineup availability questions, the bullpen availability as well. So, just like we saw on Thursday, where we only had 6 games, but most of those had a lot of missing information. We'll see some of that on Friday. A little bit better of a card in my opinion, but for this Cardinals-Reds game, I am going to take the St. Louis Cardinals on the money line. When you look at Cincinnati's offense going into the break against right-handed pitching, it was not doing much. Ranked 24th in team OPS and ranked in the 20s as well in isolated power. St. Louis Cardinals, I believe, have the much better lineup. I also trust the Cardinals bullpen a lot more. Even though overall I don't think this is a very good Cardinals bullpen, I still think compared to the Cincinnati Reds bullpen, it is far, far better option. When you look at Cincinnati in terms of projected WAR, 30th ranked in bullpen this season. So I don't like the Reds bullpen. I don't like their lineup. And when you look at Graham Ashcraft going into the All-Star break, he also had his fair share of struggles for Cincinnati. You look at his last few outings, giving up a lot of base hits, a lot of earned runs, not striking out a lot of batters, walking some batters as well. So when you're getting into a lot of runners on base, he had a 1.35 whip going into the All-Star break. You run into some issues. So I'm going to take the St. Louis Cardinals here. I'm going to take them on the money line. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Philadelphia Phillies with Justin Steele and Kyle Gibson on the mound for this one. And the Chicago Cubs are on a big-time one-game win streak going out of the All-Star break. All jokes aside, I actually do like the Cubs here, getting plus money on the money line. When you look at Chicago, you look at Justin Steele, his last outing against the Orioles wasn't his sharpest, but after his early struggles in that outing, he was able to sharpen up. He was able to give the Cubs 6 innings. And previous to that start against the Brewers and Reds, back-to-back one earned run performances in 11 2/3 innings combined. He was striking out some batters as well. Hasn't given up a home run in each of his last 3 outings. And he's facing a Philadelphia Phillies lineup that just hasn't been very good against left-handed pitching recently. Now, Bryce Harper, when he went down with the injury, he was hitting lefties very, very well. So missing him in that lineup is a big loss for this Phillies team overall, especially offensively. When you look at Philadelphia in the last 30 days against lefties, 23rd in team OPS in terms of isolated power, a little bit better at 22nd, but nothing to write home about. I just don't think they should be big favorites with Kyle Gibson on the mound, who hasn't really pitched very well in 2022. It's been an inconsistent year for him. A 4.35 ERA is not bad, but as of late, the strikeout numbers are down. The hard hit percentage is up, and that's what concerns me the most. We saw him give up 4 home runs back on July the 2nd against the Cardinals. I'm a little worried about him in this spot against the Cubs. The Cubs have been much better on the road than they have been at Wrigley Field. I think there's some value here with the underdog. Give me the Chicago Cubs on the money line. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Jameson Taillon and Tyler Wells are your starters. Now, the Orioles have been very, very good at home, 25-17 this season, very profitable at home as well. And Tyler Wells has been a profitable pitcher on the mound for the Orioles. He's won 8, or the Orioles have won 8 of his last 9 starts. But this is a Yankees team that he has struggled with this season. The Orioles have faced the Yankees 3 times with Wells on the mound, and all 3 of those starts, the Orioles winded up losing the game. And it's not like the Orioles haven't had any success against the Yankees in 2022. We saw them do a lot of damage at Camden Yards earlier in the year, but Wells just hasn't had the same results against the Yankees. At home, he's only got 22 strikeouts in 32 2/3 innings, which does concern me. The Yankees are top 10 in baseball in the last 30 days against righties in team OPS and isolated power. I think they get to Wells early and often here. On the other side, Jameson Taillon was sharp in his last outing, but he was struggling quite a bit in the previous outings to that one. I think he'll give up a few runs here against an Orioles lineup that's been very exciting to watch lately. I like the over in this game, but I also think the Yankees are going to get the victory in the end. I know they played a doubleheader on Thursday. Their bullpen was stretched a bit, and this is not the best travel spot for them, but still, they've had success against Wells. I trust their lineup here. I think Taillon is the better option on the mound, and I'm going to take the New York Yankees on the money line. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Braxton Garrett is the starter for the Marlins, no official starter for the Pirates, but lately it really hasn't mattered who's been on the mound against the Marlins. Miami has just not been able to score runs. It's been the case for a few weeks now. Ever since Jazz Chisholm went down with the injury, this Marlins offense has just been abysmal. You want to know how bad it's been? They haven't scored a run in any of their last 3 games, 27 innings. They haven't scored a single run, 8-0, 4-0, and 10-0 their previous games. And the game before that, 2-1 they lost. So 1 run combined in their last 4 games. I don't care who they're playing right now. I have to take the under and fade them in this spot. You know, Pittsburgh Pirates against left-handed pitching haven't been the best overall this year. They have improved quite a bit, but I actually do like Braxton Garrett on the mound for Miami. I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game, and until Miami's offense shows me anything different, I'm going to continue to take the under when the fish are on the field. Next up, we see the San Diego Padres taking on the New York Mets. A great pitching matchup we have here. Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer, a pair of aces going at it. Now, with Joe Musgrove on the team, I don't know if Darvish is any longer the ace for San Diego, but pitching well this year, 8-4 with a 3.41 ERA. The only problem I have with his game this season is this barrel percentage and his average exit velocity. Not the best, in my opinion. When you look, he gave up 2 home runs last time out. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 3 starts combined. The Mets have been very, very good against right-handed pitching in 2022. One of the reasons why they have one of the better records in baseball. And Max Scherzer, even though he was injured for quite some time, looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's pitching very, very well for the Mets. His last 3 outings, the first 3 outings since the injury, he's gone 6 innings, 7 innings, 6 1/3, no earned runs, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs allowed, striking out 11 guys, 9 guys, 11 guys again. He is pitching very well. I think the Mets are the better team here. Although the Padres may have the better bullpen, I think the Mets have the much better starter and lineup to go with it. Give me the New York Mets here on the run line. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Boston Red Sox. We're going to see Nathan Eovaldi and Kevin Gausman on the mound for this one. Now, this should be a very entertaining series to watch. I am excited to watch these two teams that are looking to heat up into the second half of the season. However, in terms of value, I just don't think there's a lot, especially for this game. These have been 2 really tough teams to read, 2 tough pitchers to read. Nathan Eovaldi and Kevin Gausman have been pretty inconsistent in 2022. We saw Gausman start the year as one of the sharpest starters in the league, and then at one point it looked like he just was not a starter I could even think about backing. He was struggling against the White Sox, the Orioles, was getting hit very hard, the strikeout numbers were down, and it looked like he lost his game. And the last 5 outings he's had for Toronto, the Blue Jays have lost 4 of those 5. We saw Nathan Eovaldi really struggle at the beginning of 2022. He had a start where he gave up 5 home runs against the Astros back on May 17th at Fenway Park and gave up 9 total runs in only an inning and 2/3. So these have been really tough pitchers to read. The Blue Jays have struggled quite a bit on the road this year, 20-24 overall, despite being 7 games above 500 overall in 2022. The Red Sox, 3 games above 500 at home this season. I do trust Nathan Eovaldi a little bit more than Gausman right now. I think he's in better form currently. I think the Red Sox playing at home here gives them an edge. This is a really tough game in my opinion, but I am going to lean towards the Red Sox here on the money line. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Atlanta Braves. Shohei Ohtani and Charlie Morton are your starters. Now, there's no doubt that Shohei Ohtani is the better option on the mound in this game. However, the Atlanta Braves have the better bullpen and much, much better lineup in my opinion. And Charlie Morton, although he has that 4.45 ERA, his xFIP is a lot sharper, and I do expect a bounce-back second half to the season for him. I do like the Braves in this matchup. You look at Atlanta, they're number 4 in team OPS against righties in the last 30 days, where the Angels rank 28th right now. So much better offensive numbers for Atlanta in terms of team OPS. When you look at power numbers, the Braves number 2 in the last 30 days, the Angels number 27. So not getting a lot done offensively, the Angels are. They haven't been very good on the road this season, 17-26, while the Braves 31-20 overall at home. I like Atlanta in this spot, although the starting pitching matchup benefits LA. I think the Braves will win this game late. If it's a close one, give me the Braves on the money line. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Chicago White Sox. We're going to see Cal Quantrill and Lucas Giolito as the starters. Now, I tell you, I think the Chicago White Sox team is going to be one of the more profitable teams we're going to see in the second half of 2022. They were 46-46, so right at 500 in the first half of the season. This was a really disappointing first half for Chicago. They had some big-time injuries to guys like Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez, a few guys in the rotation as well. But I still think they're getting healthier. They're also playing a little bit better baseball. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games going into the break. I think they're only 3 games out of the division, which is pretty scary if I'm the Twins and Guardians. I think this White Sox team is going to win the AL Central. When you look at Lucas Giolito, his last outing into the All-Star break against these Cleveland Guardians, 6 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Very sharp outing for Lucas Giolito. He's been inconsistent in 2022, but I do like him in this matchup. And Cal Quantrill, although he was sharp in his last outing before the All-Star break, he was really struggling before that. He struggled against this Chicago White Sox team where he gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, a homer. Before that, giving up a home run in each of his last 4 outings. I don't like him in this spot, and I really like the White Sox in the second half of the season. I think you could take him to win the division. I think it's plus 185 right now, the future odds to win the AL Central. I love it. Give me the White Sox in this game, and give me them to win the AL Central as well. Next up, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Antonio Senzatella and Corbin Burnes are your starters. For me, the Rockies are big-time dogs here for a reason. They've really struggled against right-handed pitching on the road away from Coors Field in 2022. And it doesn't get easy when you're facing Corbin Burnes, one of the best right-handed pitchers in the league right now. 2.14 ERA for Burnes this season. He's 4th in the league in strikeouts with 144 Ks in 113.2 innings this year. In his last 5 outings, they've all been quality starts for Corbin Burnes. 3 of those outings, double-digit strikeouts, including his last 2. I think he's good enough here for a Brewers win and a comfortable Brewers win, not Bruins, not hockey season quite yet. Give me the Milwaukee Brewers here on the run line, laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Kansas City Royals. No official starter for KC right now, but Drew Rasmussen is the probable pitcher for the Rays. I'm going to take a shot here with what I can expect to be the home underdog. No official line out quite yet, but we can expect the Rays, who are 10 games above 500, to be favorites against the Royals, who are 20 games under. Now, we saw the Kansas City Royals compete in that series against the Blue Jays. Although they were shorthanded quite a bit, they were able to win the first game in the series. They covered the extended run line for us a couple times in that series as well. And now they're getting those players back from the COVID list or the vaccination list, whatever you want to call it. I think that's going to help this team quite a bit. And you look at Drew Rasmussen, a guy who's got a 3.22 ERA. His expected ERA and xFIP are a lot higher, though, and I do think against a Royals team that doesn't strike out a lot, and it's been pretty solid against right-handed pitching recently, I think they can get to Rasmussen in the Rays bullpen and get a win here at home. So give me the Kansas City Royals here on the money line. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Oakland Athletics. Spencer Howard and Cole Irvin are your starters. Now, I don't back Spencer Howard very often, but one of the times I did earlier this year was against these Oakland A's back on July 11th, and Howard, 5 innings, 1 earned run, was good enough for the Rangers to win and cover the run line. We don't have to lay the run line here. The Rangers are a minus 110 pick'em favorite on the road. The A's have just been dreadful at home this season, where they're well below 500 at home. The Rangers have been pretty solid on the road, but they've been even better against left-handed pitching. They face Cole Irvin here. When you look at Texas in the last 30 days, even overall this season, they've been very good against lefties. In the last 30 days particularly, number 1 in isolated power, number 1 in team OPS. They are crushing lefties. Arrested Corey Seager should be back in the lineup after he got the day off on Thursday. We'll have to see if that's the case, but with or without him, I still like the Rangers here to do a lot of damage on Irvin, enough for Howard in the bullpen to earn the win in this game. Give me the Texas Rangers here on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, we don't have an official starter for either team listed right now, no line either. So I'm just going to have to take a Ruffalo here, take a pass on this game altogether. Now, this is not the most exciting game to begin with, and with no starter listed, there's no reason for us to try to be cute and make a decision when we don't even know any of the information regarding the pitchers. Juan Soto's trade talks start to keep brewing here. We'll see if the Nationals move him at the deadline. I'm very interested to see. I actually am the personal owner of a Juan Soto rookie card PSA 10, so I want what's best for him in his career, just in terms of investing. But I do believe that Soto will get dealt very, very soon. There's a number of teams that have put an offer in, and we'll have to see what the winning offer is. If it's probably going to be a big deal. A lot of prospects, draft picks, and everyday players as well in that deal. So I'm excited to see that, but for this particular game, just going to take a pass on it. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Seattle Mariners. Jose Urquidy and Marco Gonzalez are your starters. Now, the Astros have been one of the better teams in the American League this season, but no team is hotter than the Seattle Mariners. And at home here, I'm going to take a shot here with the Mariners, a team that's on a big-time win streak going into the break. When you look at Marco Gonzalez, not my favorite pitcher to back, but I will say an impressive first half of 2022 with 3.5 ERA. And the Houston Astros haven't been the best against lefties in the last 30 days, where they're outside the top 10 in team OPS and isolated power against lefties. So I think Gonzalez can have a solid outing here. We know the Astros not in the best position in terms of travel and rest-wise, as they played a doubleheader on Thursday in Houston, and they have to travel all the way out to Seattle for a game here in a different time zone. Not the best spot here for Houston. Jose Urquidy's been inconsistent this year. The Mariners lineup has crushed righties and lefties as of late. I think they do enough damage here on Urquidy to get the win and keep that win streak a-rolling. Give me the Seattle Mariners here on the money line. In our final game of the night, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Logan Webb and Tyler Anderson are your starters for now. No official lineup for this one, so we could see a pitching change, and that goes for most of the games for Friday's card. A lot of missing lines and some games where we could see some pitching changes or some scratches, so make sure you're always up to date with the information. But if Webb and Anderson are the starters, I do lean towards the Dodgers on the money line, and I also lean towards the over. Logan Webb has been successful in 2022, and his last few starts haven't been bad, no doubt about it, but I've watched his last few outings, and I will say he's starting to get hit a little bit harder than you would like to see from a pitch-to-contact guy. Logan Webb's not going to earn a ton of strikeouts. He's got 101 in 117.2 innings this season, so not the best strikeout numbers. He's starting to get hit a little bit harder. We've seen some fly ball outs more so. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, so that's a bit concerning. And when you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, they're a very, very good lineup against right-handed pitching. It's been the case from the beginning of the season to now, and going into the break, the last 30 days of the season, the Dodgers #1 in team OPS and isolated power against righties. So I think they get to Webb here early and often. The Giants bullpen has not been very good in 2022 either. Now, on the other side, Tyler Anderson, I do expect him to give up a few runs. Where we've seen him struggle the most is against teams that have hit left-handed pitching very, very well. And the Giants have been that as a team lately. When you look at their numbers, #3 in isolated power, #4 in team OPS in the last 30 days for San Francisco against those lefties. So I think they can chip in a few runs and help us get over this total. So give me the Dodgers on the money line and the over in the Giants-Dodgers game as well. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday, July 22nd. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.